Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a video from Shoe0nHead. This had a different title. I swear to God, it had like a different title, talking about like Fuentes and then like the Epstein files or whatever, or some shit like that. And now it's like, now it's just how did we get here? I think this is referring to like the Democrats. Shoe0nHead's one of those content creators who, in my opinion, I feel like she has boyfriend politics. Like, she has whatever politics she has of her boyfriend at the time. I mean, her boyfriend's like, what? Isn't her boyfriend like some kind of like a Christian or whatever? And generally speaking, that's like more of a thing you see on the right. And now she's like, she kind of like plays this like centrist game, but then she'll like try to guzzle conservative cum or whatever. That's kind of like the strategy that Shoe0nHead does with a lot of her content, so I mean, I'm curious about the video. We'll see if this video is that, or it could just be something else, so.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here to inform you that the rumors are indeed true. The Democrats have struck back.
Oh no, the worst thing ever.
In the New Jersey governor's race, the Democrat won. In the Virginia governor's race, the Democrat won. And in the New York City race, Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani defeated Andrew Cuomo to become the next mayor of America's largest city. But the question
I feel like people say socialist like it's a bad thing.
on everyone's mind is, was it just a fluke? Just easy wins in blue cities and states? Or is there something more to this? Is this a sign of things to come?
Well, I mean, generally speaking, I think it's important to understand that, like, you know, the pendulum doesn't always stay in one place, right? The pendulum is always shifting. And, like, obviously the narrative has been dominantly in the right ever since Trump got elected. And, like, MAGA's been a thing. But now, like, with more infighting on the right, and one of the biggest reasons why there's only infighting is because there's a group of conservatives who hate Jews, and then there's a group of conservatives who don't hate Jews. And that's really it. Like, the America First people, like, the people that are adjacent to Nick Fuentes, they hate Jewish people while other Americans don't hate Jewish people. I mean, I don't think conservatives particularly care for marginalized groups of people. I don't think they particularly care about gay or trans people. I mean, they're actively trying to take away their rights constantly with laws. So I think it's just important to bring that up.
The Democratic Party finally turning their losing streak around? Are they actually listening to the people now? Did they finally learn their lesson? No. Thanks for watching.
Oh, okay.
My last 3 videos about electoral politics were warning the Democratic Party that young men were moving right because the party f***ing sucks and was becoming the young men eat and die movement, spanking the Democratic Party for losing because they elected one of the most unlikable shittiest candidates while offering absolutely nothing to voters, and defending the voters from the wrath of a bunch of liberal streamer man-children calling the voters stupid and evil for daring not to vote for Hillary Clinton and brownface.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, the Democratic Party hasn't really offered anything of substance for ages, and I do agree that the Democratic Party has a lot of things you can criticize about it, but I also don't think the solution is just fucking allowing people like Trump in office who have done absolutely nothing positive for the country and allowing like a bunch of Republican politicians who take away rights to marginalized groups of people. I feel like that's not really the solution to the issue either.
But the thesis for all 3 of those videos was basically the same. As the right embraces working class populism, the Democratic Party and the left will continue to fade into irrelevancy. But
I mean, it's okay to, like, focus on populism, like, that's not a bad thing, but also there's, like, other things to add to the big picture. But also, we have to understand, like, the reason why, like, Trump got elected and why the right is winning is because Trump represented change. The same reason why Zohran Mamdani got elected to mayor, because he also represents change, and he's different. He's not, like, a standard politician. Trump wasn't really a standard politician either. I mean, he's sort of become one after being in the game for years, but still, like, they represent, like, change to some capacity. That's kind of why that's the case.
But as I also predicted in those last videos, there might be an eventual pendulum swing, and it might be happening much sooner than I predicted. Like, how did
Well, the pendulum is always shifting.
we go from Republicans winning the popular vote, in part thanks to a lot of the young people voting, to a bunch of data showing those same young people dropping their support for the GOP already? But the interesting thing is, those young people don't seem to be moving to the Democratic Party either. Where are they going? And do the Democrats have a plan to scoop these people up? Yes, they do, and they called it, I'm not kidding, deciding to win.
Hey, I mean, we finally decided to take our head out of our ass, I guess. I mean, I don't think yes, the Democratic Party has sucked, but I really don't think, I don't know, like, Kamala was not that great of a candidate, personally. But I also feel like people exaggerate how bad she was, to be honest. Like, I don't think she was terrible. The only reason, like, one of the biggest reasons why she lost, and I know people are going to roll their eyes when they hear this, it's because she's a woman. And I know people are going to roll their eyes when they hear that. They're going to be like, oh god, he's pulling the woman card. Look at you, Icon. You're pulling the fucking woman card. Listen, there are still a lot of people that live in the United States that believe that women can't run for president in the US. It's a very outdated belief, but that's the reason why Trump won against 2 women and he lost to a senile old man.
Deciding to win, as if the whole time they have just been simply deciding to lose. It was a choice, guys. They changed their mind and they want to win now.
Hey, it's like throwing an Apex Legends game. Then you have a reason to say slurs.
In this video, I will talk about why I think Zohran Mamdani won. We will go through the Democrat Party's plan to decide to win. We will briefly talk about the rise of the political commentator Nick Fuentes, the MAGA Civil War, and
why are we talking about Nick Fuentes? I mean, he's relevant in the sense that, like, he's, like, one of the people adjacent to the America First movement who, like, hates Jewish people, and that's why the right has been infighting a lot more lately. Also because the narrative is, like, dominantly right, so they don't really feel like they have to win as much on anything.
And what I like to call the inevitable rise of shoe-cialism. If that sounds interesting, stick around. If it doesn't, you can leave. It's not like I'll miss you or anything. But Baka. I know a lot of you are not...
Damn. Shoe is really trying to appeal to her audience. She's trying to play into her assets a little bit. Oh, not really play into her assets, if you catch my drift. She's definitely trying to play into the audience that she has, we'll say.
Very interested in politics. You come here for the fun Reddit slop, the men vs. women content, yeah.
Well, isn't your whole channel political slop? I mean, I cover political slop occasionally, too, but, like, that's, like, the whole, like, one of the biggest parts of your channel is just, like, political slop.
I know. But unfortunately, politics kind of seeps into your lives whether you want it to or not. So you might as well be entertained when you hear about it, and have some fun with it when you can. And I just so happen to have the perfect app for that. So before we get into this political deep dive, let's quickly give a shout out to today's sponsor, one of my favorite sponsors to work with, Ground News. Ground News is a website and an app.
Hey, I mean, listen, we gotta sit through the ads, right? We're reacting to videos, we might as well sit through the sponsors, give them that free watch time.
That gives readers a transparent and easy way to read news from all across the political spectrum, from left, right, and center. Every story comes with a quick visual breakdown of
enlightened centrism, which is basically just right-wing politics when you really think about it. And, like, and being a centrist in 2025 basically is just like, hey, I'm gonna guzzle conservative cum because that's where the narrative is at right now.
Political bias that helps you understand the full story and makes sure you're getting both sides. One of my favorite features on Ground News is the blind spot feature, which shows you news stories that have been covered by one side of the spectrum and ignored by the other. For example, here is a story about how the White House apparently intervened in an Andrew Tate federal probe. 29 news sources covered this. 86% of them were left-wing. None were right-wing. Ground News also makes it really easy to compare headlines to see how political bias can affect framing. For example, this feud between Elon Musk and Billie Eilish. This right-wing headline reads, Elon Musk claps back at Billie Eilish after she slams him for hoarding wealth. And this left-wing article frames the same story as, Elon Musk's comebacks are as flat as his attempts at jokes. Very different vibes going on here. I have been using Ground News since 2021 because it is just a great and fun way to keep up with the news. But don't just take my word for it. Even the Nobel Peace Center called it an excellent way to stay informed, avoid echo chambers, and expand your worldview. Best of all, I am currently offering 40% off their Vantage plan, which is the plan I use to access all their amazing features. So go to ground.news/shoe or use the QR code here on screen, or use the link in the video description down below. It's only like...
Hey man, we love the sponsors. Also, Shoe, I have to ask, are you like purposely going for like a 90s vibe here, like with the graphics of your YouTube? Is it like watching like a fucking TV during the 90s? Because I feel like that's what I'm watching here.
$5 a month, which is basically the price of like a coffee.
Or maybe Shoe is like trying to recreate like the old school like YouTube feel. I don't know.
You can also gift a subscription to somebody. Just select the Vantage subscription, add a customized gift message, and Ground News will send it straight to their inbox where they can activate it. The perfect Christmas present for your out-of-touch uncle who gets all his news from Facebook. So thank you, Ground News, for sponsoring this video, and thank you, the viewer, for not skipping the ad. right?
I didn't skip it.
Now, let's get back to the video. For those of you familiar with the Shoe0nHead channel, you know I've harshly criticized the Democratic Party for all my career. Some say too harshly.
Well, I mean, yeah. Not to say that they don't deserve criticism, but, like, you definitely have played the, centrist right-wing game before, we'll say.
Frankly, I don't care. And some say I'm not harsh enough on the Republicans. First of all, true, but let's be honest, that's not why you come here. You go to Kyle Kulinski for that. Just like you go to Destiny to see opinions you can hear on CNN, or to Hassan for dog training tips. You come here to hear, golly gee willikers, I'm left-wing and the Democrats have gone crazy. That's the shit you're here for. But are the Democrats actually getting their—
Well, I don't think you're stupid, Shoe0nHead, just to be clear. I don't think she's dumb. I think she knows that the narrative is dominantly right, and so she is, like, kind of, like, playing into that a little bit. But, like, once the pendulum starts shifting back to the left, you're gonna start seeing Shoe0nHead start to shift back a little bit towards that. Because, like, I feel like Shoe0nHead just goes wherever the pendulum is at. She kind of does what Asmongold does. Although, to be fair, to be honest, even with Asmongold, I actually feel like Asmongold has kind of always been a little bit right-wing. I'm not even gonna lie. It's just that Asmongold, like, voices it a little louder when the time is right, rather than, like, he's just staying— he'll just, like, stay more quiet about it when the pendulum is left. So I actually feel like Asmongold has always been, like, a fucking conservative cocksucker, whereas, like, Shoe0nHead will actually just, like, go wherever the pendulum is at.
Together? Or did they simply get lucky in a few blue areas? One of those blue areas being my city, New York, where Democratic Socialist candidate Zohran Mamdani won the election and will become the new mayor. And a lot of people are, like, really confused about how this happened. And if you're—
Well, it happened because Zohran Mamdani is different. Like, he is, like, Zohran Mamdani, I would say, has a lot of promising policies. You know, he wants to tax the rich more, which Trump hasn't really done at all whatsoever. If anything, Trump has put out policies that have benefited rich people more. Like, the tariffs literally benefited nobody but rich people. And then with, like, fucking Zohran, he's, like, trying to do, like, almost the opposite of that. And also, like, Zohran Mamdani is generally, like, a young guy. He's a guy in his, like, early 30s who's becoming mayor. He also ran a pretty damn good campaign. He utilized social media, which is what Trump did exactly for his election, is to utilize social media as well, especially with, like, Elon Musk taking over Twitter and, like, artificially inflating the algorithm with, like, right-wing content. So I feel like that plays a role in it to some capacity. They're different. Both Zohran and Trump are just different than your average politician, and people want to change, and that's why they both got elected.
You're one of those
during their respective times.
People you really need to keep watching. If you don't understand why Mamdani won, I'm sorry to say, but you're kind of like the liberals in 2016 who didn't understand why Trump won. It's actually extremely understandable why Zohran Mamdani won, and it's not just because New York is full of commies or whatever. He is objectively the best Democratic candidate that they've had in a very, very long time. Like, I know the bar is in hell there, but he's young, he's energetic, he's charismatic.
I mean, yeah, he kind of has Obama vibes, really. Like, he has, like, I mean, Obama, when he first ran, he was fairly young. Now you look at a picture of Obama today, he looks like motherfucker aged, like, several centuries. But, like, yeah, no, I mean, like, he has, like, Obama energy where it's, like, that promise or whatever. Now, Obama wasn't able to deliver as well as he could have, to be honest. I didn't think Obama was particularly bad, personally, when I thought he was there. I didn't think he was as good as he promised, but I think he was, like, okay, you know? Like, I would say he was, like, an okay president. And then, with Zohran Mamdani, like, obviously, like, he has a lot of promises he needs to deliver on. And he seems like he's very promising, and he is positioning himself to be, like, a candidate. I mean, the Democrats have, like, a lot of really promising candidates to going into 2028. You know, I mean, we have Gavin Newsom, who I would say, generally speaking, is good. You know, obviously, like, Gavin Newsom's strategy is a little bit, I don't know how long it's gonna last, where Gavin Newsom's strategy is just, like, memeing and shitting on Trump. Which, don't get me wrong, is funny, but I don't know how long, like, how, from, like, a candidate perspective, that's gonna get, like, how far that might get him. I don't know. Then you have James Talarico. He's another one that's, like, super promising. And I guess even Zohran's, like, positioning himself to be, like, a really promising Democrat candidate.
And people are really tired of the White House doubling as a retirement home. And of course, I like many of his economic policies. I like the universal childcare thing, the transportation, flipping off the Christopher Columbus statue. That's the shit I don't like. Bitch, that's our fucking guy. He was a—
Well, I mean, Yeah, but you also have to remember Christopher Columbus was not a good guy. Like, Christopher Columbus was responsible for slaughtering tons of Native Americans and also, like, displacing them out of their homes. Now, again, we are where we are now in America. You know, I'm not saying we have to do something about it now, but I also really don't understand why we celebrate Christopher Columbus either all the time, because I feel like that's just, I don't know. I feel like to be oblivious to that fact, it can come across as a little bit insensitive, Shoe0nHead, but okay.
Brave Italian explorer who discovered America, and in this house, Christopher Columbus is a hero. End of story. I've said this many times, but I don't think the good left-wing policies can even exist alongside the bad left-wing policies. Like, I don't know how you can have free transportation, but also be soft on crime. Like,
well, I don't think Zoran Mamdani wants there to be, like, free transportation. I feel like he just wants to, like, lower the cost and make it more affordable, generally speaking. I don't think he wants to. I mean, if you live in New York, which Shoe0nHead, I think Shoe0nHead lives in upstate New York. I think she's made that clear. Like, generally speaking, the MTA, which is, in case for anyone who doesn't live in New York that's watching this, it's the Metropolitan Transportation Authority. They are basically, like, the main people behind, like, running the buses, the subways, even, like, the Long Island Railroad and the Metro North transportation, like, within New York. And, like, a little bit in Connecticut, because the Metro North goes in Connecticut, and upstate New York a little bit with the Metro North, and then Long Island, of course, with the Long Island Railroad. So that's where the MTA runs. I mean, the MTA, like, gets a lot of funding, but they don't really put that funding where it needs to go. They kind of just, like, get very complacent. I mean, if you go in a lot of subway stations today, the MTA is still very, like, it's still very dirty in a lot of these places. It's still one of the most unclean subways in the world. It's also one of the more convoluted subway systems in the world, so a lot of newer people have a little bit of a difficult time navigating where it is to go, whereas opposed to going to, like, other subways in the world, like, it's not it's fairly straightforward to navigate. Like, if you were to go to Chicago or Washington, D.C., the subway is fairly straightforward for anybody to navigate, like, going into it. Whereas New York, there's, like, 26 different lines, then you have all the different bus routes, and then you have the Long Island Railroad and the Metro North on top of that, and it just, like, it gets, like, it's way too much for anyone that's, like, trying to be, like, a tourist here, so... And also, not to mention, the subway's just fucking dirty, so, like, it's, like, one of the worst in the world.
I don't know, like, in what world does that work out? You can't have nice, clean, free transportation if a bunch of drug addicts and violent felons are going around stabbing people and setting them on fire. You can't have nice things if you don't have rules to enforce those nice things.
Sure, I guess. Yeah, fair enough, I suppose.
You know what I mean? It's always such a breath of fucking fresh air when I go back to visit my family in the suburbs of Long Island and I go to the CVS and the fucking toothpaste is free from their plexiglass prisons. I shouldn't have to wait 10 minutes for some poor wagey to come unlock the cagey so I can buy fucking shampoo. We don't have to live that way. Maybe he'll do great, or maybe he gets into power and immediately cucks to the establishment like some other people. I don't like to talk about it. I just don't know how the hell anyone thought Andrew Cuomo was going to win. He killed a bunch of grandmas during COVID.
As you admitted this week, you personally altered the state health department report to undercount the death total, to hide the death total, and then evaded and lied to these families for 5 years. So
you killed a shit ton of people.
Not only that, but, like Andrew Cuomo is, like, a legitimate, like, fucking sex pest, and he's just, Andrew Cuomo is a typical politician. He uses plausible deniability language. He sleazes his way out. He, like, totally shat on Eric Adams, but then will receive praise from him when it benefits him. He plays the typical politician game, and people are obviously very sick of that.
Bro, what? Plus, he doesn't even live in...
Funny enough, like, Andrew Cuomo had the most votes from Staten Island, of all places, actually, because generally speaking, like, Staten Island is a little bit more conservative-leaning. I guess they're not, like, a huge fan of Mamdani.
New York City. He doesn't live in the city he's running to be mayor of. Cuomo just kind of expected to win based on name recognition alone and being like, hey, at least I'm not the other guy. Sound familiar? Trump actually offered a vision. Make America great again. Mamdani offered a vision. A New York City you can afford. So people took a chance on him. People wanted something different. Andrew Cuomo, he had no vision or anything. Oh man, I love tuning into a debate about...
Yeah, I mean, I would say I agree with that.
New York City, and 80% of it is about another f***ing country.
The first foreign visit by a mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first?
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
I would go to Israel.
I'd make my 4th trip to Israel.
Mr. Mamdani.
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel?
That was the exact moment I knew Zoran was going to win.
Interesting. I mean, yeah, I mean, because, like, Zoran also said he was gonna, like, arrest Netanyahu if he ever came to New York because of, like, his war crimes. It's not that funny, actually. I'm chuckling at it, but it was, like, it's very, like, it's an out there quote. That's why I laughed at it. The idea that Netanyahu is committing war crimes is not funny, just to be clear. Zoran is pro-Palestine. We love that. I mean, we don't like to see Palestinians get genocided. That's, Netanyahu do be committing war crimes. He do be committing war crimes.
Bro was just surrounded by NPCs. I love how they're like, where would you go? And Zoran was like, I'm gonna stay here. And instead of being like, no, Zoran, the question was, where would you go? They're like, why wouldn't you go to Israel? Like, that's the answer to the question. Like, that's just the default answer to that question.
I mean, why would Zoran go to Israel anyways? Isn't he more focused on, like, being and running for mayor and, like, being the mayor of New York?
His win was very much in part a direct
and focusing on the 4 boroughs. I say 4 boroughs because Staten Island isn't really a borough. They've been segregated from the rest of us forever. Fuck you, Staten Islanders.
Response to the affordability crisis that many Americans are facing. So what is the GOP's answer to the affordability crisis? Oh, great news, guys. There is no affordability crisis. It doesn't exist. It's all in your head, silly. Need to save money? Simply don't buy your grandmother a Christmas present this year.
Budget, budget, budget. You need a plan. Also remember, adults don't need gifts, okay? Focus on the people in your life who are age 3 to 18. Grandma doesn't need slippers. If they don't live by you, don't get them a gift. Now's not the time to spend and break.
This is kind of funny to me because, like, the whole idea of, like, conservatives will say, like, hey, just engage in capitalism. What is in capitalism exactly? It's spending money on things. And now, like, this whole thing is like, hey, you know, don't buy things for your grandma. I mean, do you think it's a sign of a healthy economy if we can't afford stuff for your grandma or other people? I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's a conversation you could have.
The banks.
Zoran's win was also basically a direct response to the housing crisis in America. So what is the GOP's response to the pie in the sky, commie gobbledygook that Zoran Mamdani is selling? Surely they have a better solution.
Here we go. The White House is floating this idea. Bill Pulte is saying, thanks to President Trump, we can indeed work on the 50-year mortgage, a complete game changer. How does that work in dollars? Here you go. 30-year fixed mortgage right now. You're paying $2,038 a month, principal and interest on a $400,000 home. At the bottom, under 50 years, you'd save a couple $100 a month at $1,822 principal and interest. That is proposed. Do you like this idea?
I do not like this idea.
Not lowering prices, not building more housing. No, just being a good little slave to the bank for 50 years.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but also, like, we also have to hold corporations and, like, other places like BlackRock accountable for fucking building the whole, what was it? They were, like, funding, weren't they, like, a donor to, like, Trump's campaign or whatever? Yeah, they were a donor to, like, Trump's, like, ballroom or whatever, not campaign, sorry. It was, like, the fucking ballroom or whatever that Trump's trying to build in the White House.
Might as well be a rentoid forever in this case. Like, at least you don't have to fix your own dishwasher. You will own nothing.
It's also interesting because, like, Trump says we need to, like, save money. We can't be spending too much money on all these things, but will then invest money into, like, his own birthday parade that only, like, 2,000 people, based on what I saw from the videos, only, like, around 2,000 people showed up to anyways. More people showed up at the No Kings protests that were going on during the same day.
And be happy. Doesn't that sound great, Gen Z? Vote for us. We'll release the Epstein files and finally drain the swamp. Awesome. Finally, justice.
I have to ask, does Shoe0nHead own that MAGA hat out of, like, because she's trying to do this bit, or does she own that MAGA hat for other reasons?
Here it comes, the Epstein Files Phase 1. We got all your favorite E-celebs here. Don't you think that's a little tacky? I mean, like, this is an international...
Well, I don't think MAGA ever thought, or I don't think anybody or MAGA themselves thought that, like, the Epstein Files were, like, tacky, per se. It was just more, like, it was based on stuff that we kind of already knew. But it got put into the limelight because Elon Musk put out that tweet saying that, like, Trump's in the Epstein files, and then we got, like, all of this stuff. Like, at any point, Trump could have just release the Epstein files if he truly wasn't, like, implicated there, but he clearly was, and that's why he's been, like, filibustering, trying to, like, release the Epstein files. At any point, he could have just released them, but, like, now we have to go through Congress to, like, force him to release the files in some way, and now Trump is, like, walking it back after he's had time to scrub his name from the files, being like, oh, yeah, you know, yeah, I mean, I think we should release the files because I have nothing to hide, even though he's, like, I don't know, man. Like, you've had all this time to release the files, you've chosen not to, and you were best friends with the world's most notorious pedophile for, like, 10 to 15 years, so I don't know what to tell you.
Child trap. The Epstein files are on my desk. Oh, that's great, that's great. That's what we've been waiting for. Well? Oh, they don't exist. Wait, what? Yeah, the Epstein files.
It's true, it's a Democrat hoax. They made up that hoax.
Don't
Even though Elon Musk put out a tweet on Twitter that said he was in the files.
exist. They're a Democrat hoax. But you just said, hey, what the f***? That's my wallet. Sorry, Israel needs new weapons. Bye. Psst. What do you want, Democrat? Vote for us. Why?
Bro, she has the fucking nose ring and everything. Nose ring theory is real, I guess. Nose ring women do be left wing.
What do you
Have we met any, like, right wing woman that has a nose ring? I guess not, when you think about it.
have to offer? Hey, that's my wallet again. What are you people doing? Sorry. Israel needs new weapons. Bye.
Generally speaking, most left-wing people are, like, for Palestine, right? I mean, like, Israel-Palestine shouldn't be, like, a fucking left or right-wing, like, it shouldn't be seen as left or right-wing. Saying Israel has the right to exist is generally seen as, like, a right-wing viewpoint. It shouldn't be. Like, wouldn't they be advocating for, like, Gaza or the genocide more? Because that's generally what, like, left-wing politics normally does, anyway.
The Epstein files are a really big deal. This is not a partisan issue. You should absolutely care about an international child trafficking blackmail operation consisting of the most powerful people in the world.
Hell yes, I agree with that.
And anyone telling you to move on is coping, gaslighting, or in on it. If whatever is in there is so damning that it is a national security risk, the people deserve to know. Like,
yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but, like, where was this energy, like, before we got to this point, when the fucking, like, with the Pentagon, right, where they were trying to... Hold on, I'm gonna look it up, just so I can actually, like, articulate what I'm trying to say, because it's a little bit complicated, actually. Okay, so, PBS article, today marks the deadline for journalists to decide whether to comply with the Defense Department's new rules, a requirement for keeping the credentials to allow them access to the Pentagon. The Pentagon's chief spokesperson has described a new policy as common sense, but virtually every news organization, to include PBS News, has refused to sign it, arguing that it infringes on First Amendment protections. For decades, reporters have held business passes to let them freely enter the Pentagon to attend press briefings, meet with officials, and talk with sources as they report on the Defense Department. But now, in order to keep those credentials, Trump administration is requiring journalists to comply with a policy that says reporters cannot solicit or obtain information the Defense Department does not explicitly authorize. So, like, just to be clear, this would prevent any, like, journalist that would, like, otherwise get, like, information about these, like, Epstein files. Like, you guys think that we should have a right to have access to a lot of these things, but how come you voted for the fucking party that's actively trying to suppress information and get it, right? Like, you should have been sounding the alarm way before we got to this point. So, like, where's your same energy here? Like, I just feel like we need to be a little bit consistent when it comes with what narrative we're running for.
Like, I don't know about you, but if we are paying taxes to a bunch of satanic pedophiles, I would like to know. That is information I would like to know. Like, I already know we're doing that, but I would like some confirmation. Okay, so literally as I am filming this, Trump is...
I mean, you guys kind of voted into office when it was already, like, public knowledge that we kind of had this to begin with until Elon Musk put the point up, right? Or at least put the tweet up, is what I meant to say.
Saying he is releasing the Epstein files, so...
Wait, I'm sorry, hold on, go back.
I already know we're doing that, but I would like some confirmation. Okay, so literally as I am filming this, Trump is saying he is releasing the Epstein files.
Oh, stop, girl, stop it. You know damn well he's not going to release the files. Come on. Like, don't play into this, Shoe0nHead. Like, we know what you're doing here. Like, come on, stop it.
So, I guess they weren't a hoax. I'm gonna be so honest. I have no idea what the f is going on, you guys. I'm sure when this video gets posted, There's already going to be more things that have happened. Also, Mike Johnson apparently said they need to make changes to the files to make sure we, quote, don't do permanent damage to the political system.
I mean, hey, listen, maybe we do need damage to the political system if there's a lot of fucking pedophiles that are in power right now.
Releasing the Epstein files would do damage to the political system, then so be it. Then it deserves to be damaged. It deserves to be destroyed.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but, like, you know damn well Trump's not going to release the files himself. I don't even know why you're entertaining that idea to begin with. Like, stop it, Shoe. Come on.
Just release the files. After all, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Isn't that right, government? But it wasn't just the Epstein files thing that has MAGA feeling a little demoralized lately.
Does that mean the H-1B visa thing will not be a big priority for your administration? Because if you want to raise wages for American workers, you can't flood the country with tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of foreign workers.
You also do have to bring in talent. When
we have plenty of talented people here.
No, you don't.
Well, listen, if you are focused on cutting H-1B visas, if you think H-1B visas are such a problem, which generally speaking, a lot of conservatives use the point of H-1B visas as like a problem because they're trying to dog whistle that they don't like foreigners taking their jobs, right? And they want to put the blame on foreigners. That's really like what it is. But that aside, if you want to actually like cut off like H-1B visas, then you would be like, I don't know why Trump was so focused on cutting the Department of Education, which is focused on getting more people to allow more people to have jobs to begin with. And like, yet Trump decided to cut like funding for the Department of Education. It's like, I don't know. Do you guys expect me to feel bad for the fucking, like, Republicans or, like, conservatives who have trouble getting jobs when they decided to vote into office, cutting funding from their ability to get jobs to begin with via the Department of Education?
You don't have talented people here?
No, you don't have certain talents, and people have to learn.
We've talked about this a few times on this channel, actually very recently in the male loser epidemic video. The no talented Americans thing is a myth pushed on us by corpos and billionaires.
Well, I don't really think it's that much of a myth when you think about it. I mean, Americans are fucking lazy people. Americans, like, are very complacent. I mean, we live in the greatest country in the world. We're lucky to have roofs over our heads. A lot of countries in the world aren't as lucky, you know? Just go to, like, places in Africa. I mean, especially Sudan, where there's, like, a genocide going on in Sudan as well. There's, like, other countries that, like, are not as fortunate enough as us. We're fucking lazy as shit. We're lucky, if anything, that we get to be this lazy.
So they can hire foreign workers who will work for less money and won't unionize. Worker drones who will work under the coercion of deportation, essentially creating infinite scab labor. Even though there are so many Americans in these fields looking for jobs. But those spoiled Americans will ask for a living wage so they can live in a 600-foot square apartment. How dare they? We can't do that. So import 1 billion immigrants. After all, it's good for business. I
mean, America has always been about, like, having immigrants into the country. That's always been what America's been about. Is that a problem?
Folks,
I don't know. It's like Shoe0nHead said that very sarcastically. Like, America has always been about having immigration in. It's, like, always been what America is.
Are not thrilled about the...
Technically, we're immigrants, when you really think about it. I mean, this was not originally our land, when you think about it. Like, Native Americans were here before we were. So, like, technically, we're not, like, native to this land.
This idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States.
If we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business.
Unfortunately, America does feel like nothing but 3 corporations in a trench coat. But America is not a business. America is not a corporation. It is a nation. The contrast of what Trump is saying here compared to how he used to talk is staggering. Republicans embracing populism, at least rhetorically, is what gave...
I mean, I feel like the writing has been on the wall for Trump for a while, so, like, are you... I'm just like, I fail to understand the point Shoe0nHead's making here.
The contrast of what Trump is saying here compared to how he used to talk is staggering. Republicans embracing populism, at least rhetorically, is what gave rise to Donald Trump and fundamentally changed the way Republicans do politics in America.
Sure, I guess.
If you go back and watch the debates of Donald Trump in 2016, it's crazy.
We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East.
Wow, people get older, I guess. I mean, Trump looks a lot younger now than he does, like, in some of the other stuff I see him in now. Like, he's so fucking wrinkled.
They lied.
Okay.
They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
I remember being like, damn, that's not how politicians in general really talked at that time. Like, we would see it from Bernie Sanders and maybe like Ron Paul, but to get up on stage in a Republican debate in front of Republican donors saying that kind of shit was unheard of. Bro was getting booed. Trump won in 2016 by decrying the bloodlust and warmongering of the Republican Party, but also by speaking to the economic woes of the average working class American.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier in the video, people were bored. Well, not bored. I shouldn't say bored. People were tired, I should say, of the same old, like, politicians, and they wanted change. That's why Trump got elected twice, like, because he was different. Same reason why Mamdani got elected, because he's different. And, like, a lot of people are scared that Mamdani's not going to follow through and that Mamdani is too much of a wild card. But a lot of people say that, like, New York is fucking terrible as is, and, like, New York has a lot of flaws. Like, how much worse could New York get, realistically speaking? So it's like, fuck it. I mean, we might as well try something out as opposed to having, like, Andrew Cuomo, who's gonna be a fucking sleazebag and not accomplish anything by being mayor.
Basically saying, I see you, to people who felt like they haven't been seen by either party in a very long time. Like, I saw people in my life, my neighbors and stuff, that were all, like, Obama voters, like, just flipped to Trump, and now, like, all of Long Island. Long Island is like the Florida of the Northeast, bro. It is like Trump country there now. Before Trump...
Long Island has always been conservative, though. Like, I mean, even during the Obama era, even during, like, Biden's era, even when the pendulum has been left, like, Long Island has always been very conservative-leaning. Like, the amount of racist people I've seen and heard in Long Island is, like, fucking crazy.
Oh, my nuggies are here. My nuggies are here. 1 second. 1 second. I must go get my nuggies. It's nuggie time. 34-year-old woman, by the way. Mother, by the way. Before Trump, the Democrat...
You ever wonder what would happen if your daughter grows up and looks back on her mother's videos and sees, oh, wow, look at this. Look at what mom used to do. Just kidding. I'm not actually attacking Shoe0nHead's daughter, just to be clear. Or I think she has a daughter, right? Is it a son? Daughter? I don't know. I mean, God bless Shoe0nHead for being a mother, I guess.
Democrats basically relied on talking about how the Republican Party didn't care about...
We're here for the enlightened centrist takes for Shoe0nHead. We're not here for family drama from Shoe0nHead.
The working class. But eventually...
It's not really family drama. Whatever, you get what I'm saying, alright? Fuck off. Jesus Christ, leave me alone.
The problem for Democrats was the working class didn't care about them. But now it seems like the Republican Party is going back on all of that and becoming the Bush-era neoconservative party again, right as they're winning, embracing freaks like Lindsey Graham.
So I just want to say, I feel good about the Republican Party. I feel good about where we're going as a nation. We're killing all the right people and we're cutting your taxes. Trump is my favorite president. We've run out of bombs. We didn't run out of bombs in World War II.
Republicans...
Wow, who would have thought that, like, America being, like, super pro-war after Trump became president and, like, the right saying, like, things that would be considered based would be popular, especially where the pendulum is at right now. Who would have thought?
Is that what you want your party to be? Lowering taxes and killing people? We tried that already. To many Republicans, the solution to the affordability crisis, wreaking havoc on Americans, is simply trusting the free market, working hard, and if that doesn't work, they bust out all reliable.
If you're a young person and you can't afford to live here, then maybe you should not live here. I mean, that is a real thing. Yeah, I know that we've now grown up in a society that says that you deserve to live where you grew up, but the reality is that the history of America is almost literally the opposite of that.
Ah, yes.
What a dumb thing to say. Like, that's like, oh, yeah, the history has always been this way, so it should be this way. Okay, I mean, Ben, throughout history, people have hated Jews for centuries, even, like, a millennia, like, thousands of years. Like, do you think it should be that way? Like, what a dumb argument. It's like, oh, yeah, back then slavery was totally fine. We were cool with having servants in fucking medieval Europe, and we had servants in America. Do you think it should be that way, Ben? Just because history says it's okay? Like, what a fucking stupid argument.
The classic. Just move. Just move from Economic Zone 67 to Economic Zone 69. I don't know, man. Maybe some people actually like where they live. Maybe they want to make their community better. This is like the libertarian version of just deal with it when you talk to leftists about crime. Like, no, we shouldn't just deal with it. We shouldn't just move. Maybe we can make the cities in our country livable and safe. Maybe better things are possible, actually. My husband and I moved away from our families because of his job, and it f***ing sucks. It sucks raising kids without an extended family around.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that the whole point of, like, conservative values? Like, you know, it should be, like, a lot of conservative values is, like, family values, right? That's, like, a huge thing about which, generally speaking, I actually, like, that's one of the things I do like about right-leaning politics is that they heavily value family values, and I think that's, like, a good thing to value, mostly. Especially like, when you realize that a lot of, like, left-leaning people... not even left-leaning people, like, far-left people have cut off most of their family members because they slightly disagree with them. And that's like a huge problem. That's been a problem with the left for a while. But I mean, to be fair, we're starting to see that a lot more on the right now because of, you know, a lot more infighting that's been going on. All because of Nick Fuentes. And like, there's a group of conservatives that hate Jews and there's a group of conservatives that don't hate Jews. I mean, not for nothing, but like, conservatives have never really cared for marginalized groups of people. They try to pass laws to limit their rights as much as possible.
Hi to grandma on FaceTime. Not normal, not natural. When I was growing up, it was like aunts and uncles and cousins and grandparents were just coming in and out of my house, like bringing over food, like, hey, I got some mancati. I would be babysat by my cousins and my aunts. And because we moved away, my kid won't have that. And I wouldn't be surprised if that's one reason many young people are putting off having children. The complete lack of community, the lack...
No, I don't think that's the entire reason. I think one of the big reasons why people put off having children is because they're not financially ready to. I mean, Gen Z as a whole, and this goes beyond, like, politics if you just put aside politics for a second, Gen Z, like, financially is fucking struggling. They be struggling, especially considering, like, people matured a lot slower because of COVID, which, by the way, Biden got us through COVID pretty well. Whereas Trump didn't really do anything, and he just actively downplayed it and said we had nothing to worry about until it, like, fucking New York and everywhere else declared a state of emergency.
Of a village. If you can't afford to live where your family lives, just move to fucking Gary, Indiana, where there's nobody around and no jobs and no family and no friends, but hey, at least you can afford a house there. That's not how life should work, Ben. Maybe take a step back and try to understand. Am I doing bird hands too much? You guys have made me so insecure about the fucking bird hands thing ever since this meme. Okay, listen, I'm a woman, okay? We are programmed to scold children. And when no children are around, we scold people on the internet, okay? Anyway, Nick Fuentes is a far-right commentator and a controversial figure to say the least. But his main topic...
Well, I mean, he do be hating Jews and he do be a white nationalist, so I could see why he'd be controversial.
He covers is Israel, which is an extremely hot topic that many other right-wing commentators seem to not want to touch. And the rare times they do touch it, it's them telling you not to talk about it, questioning why you care so much, or shape-shifting into the woke mob they fought against for so many years.
Well, not for nothing, but like Nick Fuentes, I watched a video many months ago where Nick Fuentes went on like, was it like a podcast or like a talk video? Like it was a long form content he did with Sam Hyde, where he tried to like push this idea that Israel is like a puppet master of the world and that they were like infiltrating the CIA for decades and like trying to get the US to ally with Israel as much as possible. He was like trying to heavily push this idea. He like heavily pushes like JQ conspiracy theories all the fucking time. So like he does a little more than just talk about Israel. Like it stems from like actual like just being an anti-Semite.
Calling you names, calling for you to be censored. What's funny is they didn't care about any of Nick Fuentes' rants on like race or women. They only started caring when his rants on Israel were blowing up.
Nick Fuentes is one of the conservatives that's like heavily aligned with the America First movement, where they just like hate Jews. And so like America First is against Trump because there's a group of conservatives that hate Jews and there's a group of conservatives that don't hate Jews. I mean, like, where was this energy when like there was like hatred against black people, especially like when people fucking had to cry when Obama became president because he was the first black president, or like, I don't know, passing laws to inhibit rights to gay and trans people. Like, let's not pretend like conservatives actually care about the rights to these groups of people at all, because they don't. They only cared when the hatred stemmed from Jewish people. That is literally it. That's it. That is the only time they actually were like, oh my god, this is actually awful.
recently did an interview with Tucker Carlson, which completely ignited the MAGA civil war that was brewing on the right for some time now. It got so ridiculous that even Chuck Schumer went on the Senate floor and called for a disavowal of Nick Fuentes. Sir, with all due respect, none. Why do politicians need a resolution in the Senate to disagree with a citizen? Hello?
Well, you guys did the same thing with Charlie Kirk, right? Like, I don't understand the argument. Just because Nick Fuentes is, like, a quote-unquote influencer, that, like, suddenly, like, it's a bad thing for them to address it. Probably because, like, Nick Fuentes' America First narrative was, like, running rampant for some time now. Because it was, like, one of the biggest reasons why the right's infighting. So, like... Also, like, I don't know, like, just because someone's an influencer, they shouldn't talk about them. You guys did that with Charlie Kirk. Like, Charlie Kirk was just some guy that was talking. I mean, he was, like, for all intents and purposes, Charlie Kirk was also fucking influencer as well. And, like, I don't know, like, Charlie Kirk heavily pushed ideas like, you know, if a black person is piloting an airplane, that there should be a safety concern for everybody else on the plane. That's incredibly fucking racist to say. Or if, like, immigrants come into the country to try to attack people or whatever. These are, like, inherently racist ideas from Charlie Kirk. Like, just to be clear. And I don't think Charlie Kirk was a good person, just to be clear, but I don't think he deserved to die. It's just like, I don't know. Like, just so nobody fucking misconstrues what I'm saying in justifying the death of Charlie Kirk. That's not what I'm doing here. It's just like, it's like the amount of, like, cognitive dissonance, like, we explore with some of these ideas. It's, like, a little bit disingenuous.
Oh, I have gathered you all here today to disavow Hitler Bussy 420. People can't afford groceries, Charles. Ben Shapiro in particular.
Again, you guys did the same thing with Charlie Kirk.
Has spent the last few months extremely confused and angry about Zohran Mamdani and Nick Fuentes becoming popular in the mainstream, all while his numbers continue to drop. I honestly don't think he understands what is happening here, so I am going to explain to you, Ben, what exactly is going on here. The American dream does not exist anymore for most people. Young people followed advice that worked for older generations, and it got them nowhere. Young people are tired of this stale, moldy old dead consensus that has dominated American politics for a very long time. The one that dragged us into all these foreign wars and sold us out for some cheap plastic shit from China. Young people are tired of being told to sit down and shut up and pledge allegiance to the free market in a country that seems to not give a shit about them, as well as a foreign country they have absolutely no connection to. For so long, establishment hacks and establishment shills looked at the issues bothering the people and just kind of dismissed them. Can't afford to live where you grew up? Just move. Don't like that the toothpaste is locked behind plexiglass? Just deal with it. Think it's kind of f***ed up how you work 40 hours a week and still can't afford—
I don't really know why you're, like, fucking bringing up the whole plexiglass point. I feel like that's so minute compared to everything else. I don't really know why. Okay. I mean, I don't know. That just seems like a very, like, weird thing to shoehorn in on this video. Shoehorn?
afford to pay rent? What are you, some kind of communist? You don't like funding a genocide with your tax dollars? What are you, anti-Semitic? If you don't address the issues of the people will gravitate towards those who are addressing those issues. It's not Mamdani's fault he won. It's yours. It's not Nick Fuentes' fault he's popular. It's yours. The tragedy of Ben Shapiro is that he led a life worshipping the free market, only to lose in the free marketplace of ideas. Now, with all this neocon rhetoric coming out of the GOP, are the Democrats going to pick up the populist ball that they are fumbling? Are they actually going to get their shit together? Well, they are trying, because they have written an article called Deciding to Win, where after interviewing over 300,000 American voters from both parties, they may have finally discovered the secret to winning.
To give ourselves the best chance to win, we recommend the following changes to our approach. Democrats need to 1. Focus our messaging on an economic program centered on lowering costs, growing the economy, creating jobs, and expanding the social safety net.
I mean, like, the Democrats have always been focused on this, just to be clear. Like, obviously, this is just them, like, trying to campaign on, like, this movement. So it's, like, obviously, like, the Democrats have always, like, had generally better policies than conservatives have. Like, I mean, Biden got us through COVID very well. Biden had, like, a lot of solid policies. Was he perfect? No. But, like, I generally think he got us through COVID much better than Trump ever has. Yet Trump decides to blame Biden for it, even though Trump was, like, way worse during COVID in his presidency. I mean, he literally just didn't give a shit and did nothing about it. And the same thing right now, where Trump now is, like, fucking doing one-size-fits-all solutions by, like, hey, why don't we just add more tariffs to things? Why don't we just, like, add more of those? And then, like, Trump will cut back on the tariffs, and then MAGA will be like, oh my god, thank you for cutting the tariffs that you put in place, Trump.
2. Advocate for popular economic policies. Moderate our positions where our agenda is unpopular, including on issues like immigration, public safety, energy production, and some identity and cultural issues.
So basically it took you guys 10 years, millions of dollars, and dozens of Microsoft team meetings to come to the conclusion that everyone has been saying forever. You wasted a decade worshipping at the altar of mentally ill Karens, and now you're acting like, hey, what if we were normal is a groundbreaking political discovery. You. I could have told you all this for free. It is a bad sign that it took you over a decade to come to the same conclusion that my audience has come to like a decade ago.
Well, your audience is mainly like just people. There's a large part of your audience that's like very conservative that you try to appeal to. You like do this like weird both sides thing, and now you're like saying that, oh, you know, my audience has been enlightened by this for a while. No, they're like conservatives that like see, oh my god, a woman is like kind of sympathizing with us more, and they'll like criticize Democrats more, even though they generally have better policies than conservatives do. So like that's what this whole video is. You're like pretending to be like this like weird enlightened centrist about it. So, but okay, Shoe0nHead.
And they're all retarded. Please reflect on this, I beg of you. Also, what do you mean you had unpopular positions on public safety? Like, why would you even say that out loud? Yeah, let's vote for the party that admits it was wrong about the issue of crackheads shanking people in the street. I love this quote from Nancy Pelosi randomly shoved in here.
Winning an election is a decision. You make a decision to win, and then you make every decision in favor of winning.
Wow, powerful quote.
How deep?
Totally.
How thought-provoking. Thank you, Nancy. What would we do without you? Probably win an election.
Democrats have changed our focus. In comparison with the Democratic Party of 2012, today's Democratic Party is more focused on issues like climate change, democracy, abortion, and identity and cultural concerns, and less focused on the economy and middle class. The table below shows this shift. Through an analysis of the prevalence of selected words in the 2024 Democratic Party platform, in comparison with the 2012 Democratic Party platform.
This whole study is really interesting, but I need you guys to see this chart, because when I first saw this, the scream I screamed. So Democrats since 2012 have increased their rhetoric on race by, sit down, 1,137%.
Okay, hold on. Let me actually see this. So, the Democratic Party's priorities have changed. Changed in the frequency per... Oh, okay, so is this just them, the amount of words that they say, basically? Or, like, the amount of times they've talked about a topic relating to any of these terms? Okay, I mean... this was from 2012 to 2014. White, black, Latino. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. This is from 2012 to 2014. It makes sense that this was the case because, like, Obama became president and people wouldn't shut the fuck up about it because, like, he was, like, our first black president. So, like, it makes sense why people were talking about that. Yeah. Climate change. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, conservatives deny that climate change exists. So, I mean, that makes sense, even though it's proven by literal science. Guns and guns, yep, because gun violence is there in America. LGBT, yep, because conservatives don't particularly care about it. Like, they won't shut the fuck up about it. I mean, even, like, for today's standards, like, conservatives won't shut the fuck up about trans people in sports. And, like, yeah, I mean, it's a conversation we can have, but, like, are you, like, there's so many other conversations we can have. Like, I mean, like, conservatives, like, constantly talk about this shit all the fucking time, too. Like, they say that, like, you know, trans people in sports is, like, a very important issue. They only talk about it when there's nothing else to talk about. And so, like, they won't shut the fuck up about trans people. I mean, they care more about trans people than actual, like, left-leaning people do normally.
Because when I first saw this, the scream I screamed. So Democrats since 2012 have increased their rhetoric on race by, sit down, 1,137%. On the gays, 1,044%. Their rhetoric on men has decreased by 51%. It is now negative 51%. On fathers, negative 100%. They just stopped talking about that shit. Veterans, negative 31. Them. The economy, negative 51, because nobody cares about that, right? The middle class, 79%.
I mean, it's not like conservatives have done a much better job at taking care of the economy. I mean, like, Biden and, like, Trump, Biden and Obama have gotten us out of policy, like out of like economic crises, like in both of their presidencies. Like Biden got us out of COVID fairly well. He handled it very well. He handled it much better than Trump did. And Obama also got us out of like a crisis. But then like Trump gets elected because a lot of like right wingers are more concerned about like instant gratification. It's like saying, oh yeah, no, we're going to vote for you because I want to feel good right now. I want like instant change right now. I want instant gratification right now. I'm not thinking about the long term, right? And I guess for a little bit they did, but then Trump started implementing all these like fucking tariffs in place, and that like pretty much benefited nobody except rich people in America. Like, wow, who would have thought that like dumbass economic policies like isolationist would be beneficial for America? Who would have thought?
But I guess you can't really talk about something that is disappearing. And jobs.
Yeah, and whose fault do you think that is, Shoe0nHead?
Negative 47%. It somehow gets worse.
Also, this data is from 2012 to 2014, just to be clear. I have to keep reminding you that, like, she's, like, using data from, like, 2012 to 2014.
Apparently, voters trust Republicans more on the most important issues to them, and trust Democrats.
Okay, so is this for... Okay, so by contrast, issues where Democrats are trusted more, like climate change, abortion, and LGBTQ issues, tend to be less important to voters. Issues Democrats are trusted more tend to be less important than others. The importance to voters, the net trust in Dems. Okay. Drug abuse and addiction is very important to voters. I mean, okay, when were these stats even taken? Like, you showed the date for the last stats, but you didn't even show the date here. I feel like that'd be, like, helpful in determining some of this, but... Okay. Income inequality... I mean, yeah, income inequality is like, here's the thing, right? The fact that drug abuse and addiction is higher than income inequality does tell us a lot, because it's like, I mean, yeah, like drug abuse and addiction, like that's important, but like I feel like income inequality is like more important to talk about than like drug abuse. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, we don't talk about issues that are more important to like just the general like public. You know, I mean, it like kind of like ties back to what I was saying earlier, so...
The most on the least important issues to them. Like, they literally care the least about LGBT, but trust Democrats the most with it. The most popular Democratic policies among voters are things like lowering drug prices, banning stock trading, expanding Medicare, and raising the minimum wage. While the most unpopular Democratic policies are things like abolishing the police, providing free healthcare to illegal immigrants, and affirmative action. You're telling me this for the first time. Democrats, here is some advice for free. You can't just be MAGA light. Why would people...
I mean, I don't think they're MAGA light. How are they MAGA light?
People drink Mr. Pibb when Dr. Pepper is right there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta bring something different, something better to the table.
Alright, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, you're like, I feel like we're just, like, oversimplifying, like, how, like, I guess bad Democrats are or whatever. It's like, this is what I'm talking about. It's like, you're, like, trying to paint this narrative that, like, Democrats are, like, all bad. It's like, that's not what this, like, that's not what it is at all. Like, I really don't think it's, like, that deep, personally. It's, like, really not, like... We've gotten, like, the Democrat policies aren't that bad. Now, how we get there, I mean, you could definitely, like, criticize, like, how the Democrats have been, like, campaigning recently. I mean, I don't think they've been doing, like, a particularly great job at it. But also, we have to remember that, like, Trump is really not that popular. Like, Trump lost to a fucking senile old man, but beat 2 women. Like, really, that's what it, like, comes down to. Like, Trump is really not as popular of a pick as you may, like, think. Like, it's really not that... And so, like, now you're saying that, like, oh, but Democratic policies are, like, oh, yeah, it's bad. It's bad, I guess.
And that difference should be working class focused economic populism. I don't just want 2 neocon parties, okay? But all of this is pointless when it's clear the Dems are not changing at all. They're just gonna change their messaging. They're putting pretty
I really don't think that. It's like, I really don't think that's what it is. Like, you're just oversimplifying it.
Wrapping paper and a bow on a big fat smelly turd. There is a chance that the Democrats may win based entirely on Orange Man bad. Again. Which means they might get into...
I mean... I guess you could technically argue that with, like, maybe Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom has been, like, using that as his, like, strategy. You could, I guess, technically make that argument. But, like, other than that, like, Gavin Newsom's policies generally are, like, good. Like, I think he's definitely got some promise. I certainly think he'd be a lot better than Trump is, that's for sure. But, like... this idea that, like, oh, they're gonna win based off of orange bad because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, all the conservative strategy has been is just like, oh, Trump got in office because he beat 2 women, and now he's, like, adding all these, like, tariffs in, and now he's, like, doing this yeah, like, once the America First and the infighting, like, runs out, once Trump gets to, like, the midterms or whatever, or once, like, Trump is not going to be able to hopefully run again because of the 22nd Amendment, like, what strategy is left for conservatives to do? What are they going to do besides that? Like, once Trump inevitably is not going to be around forever, whether he doesn't live throughout this entire term or whether he finishes his term and he won't be able to run again, like, what is going to be the strategy?
Office by learning absolutely f***ing nothing. Again. Then the voters will go, oh my god, nothing has changed, and then they'll vote for a Republican. American politics is just a revolving door of villains, isn't it? Rest assured, whoever wins, we lose. If you're
We lose. What do you... Oh, because you're an enlightened centrist and you think that both sides are pretty much the same. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, you're boring, Shoe0nHead. I don't know what to tell you. You're boring. It's just like, I'm so sick of people doing this, like, weird both sides shit. It's so, like, just not productive to, like, any conversation whatsoever. People are just like, oh, look, both sides are bad. Ha 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 ha. I'm enlightened centrist. Yeah, okay. What does that change? Okay, what do you want me to do with that information? What are we supposed to do? Like, how do you think we should change it? Like, it's boring. It's fucking boring. You're boring. Like, it's just like, oh, you know, I'm appealing to, both sides that are bad, but I'm going to appeal to conservatives more because that's where the narrative is dominant. That's where most of my audience is. And so I'm going to just appeal, and I'm going to try not to piss off that side more because that's, and then criticize the left more and, like, hide behind plausible deniability centrism because that's where the narrative is at and that's where most of my audience is at. It's like, okay, Shoe0nHead, you're like not, this is boring. It's boring.
If you're actually gonna do this shit, if you're actually gonna do what you're saying in this little article, you better be going whole hog, not just the tip. I'm talking embracing.
She knows what she's doing, like, with her audience that, like, are just like, oh, wow, look. Haha. She knows what she's doing.
Socialism. For many years, I have been smeared as many things. Grifter, flip-flopper, fence-sitter, racist, sexist, homophobic, but I am not-
Well, I think you know what you're talking about, but just to be clear, you are a bit of a fence-sitter. Like, you pretend that, like, both sides are the same, even though you can't even acknowledge that one is more correct than the other when it comes to policies. And, like, the policies that are being put in place, like, when it comes to politicians. You can't even acknowledge that much. But because you refuse to do it and you're, like, just trying to appeal to, like, this audience. Like, I actually don't think you're that deep, Shoe0nHead. You're actually not that difficult of a read.
A grifter, flip-flopper, or a fence-sitter.
You kind of are, though.
I'm simply living in 2055. You see, America has been a hyper-capitalist, economically center-right, socially center-left country since about the mid-century. And I know libertarians in my audience are gonna be like, it's not capitalism, it's cronyism. Okay, whatever the f you want to call it, it sucks, okay? So what if instead, and hear me out, what if instead we were a more people-focused, community-focused, working-class-focused, economically left, socially right country? All the data shows more people fall into that quadrant, the populist quadrant, the socialist quadrant, if you will, than the current system we are in today. If a socialist party existed, it would be incredibly popular, but it doesn't exist. And that's probably by design, honestly.
Enlightened centrist again. Strikes again. Wow.
The Social Democrat Party of Denmark has passed many progressive policies that liberals in America would only dream of. Protection from rent hikes, free college and healthcare, carbon taxes, and a very strong welfare system. But the Social Democrat Party also believes in a strict immigration policy.
So this...
They believe that if immigration is too fast or chaotic, it puts pressure on working class communities, weakens social unity, and makes it harder to maintain their strong welfare system. Wow, what a f***ing grifter Denmark is.
Well, I mean, why do you think conservatives are against all these policies to begin with? Like, Democrats, like, dream of these policies, but why do you think conservatives are against it so much? That's the audience you're trying to appeal to.
I feel like so many people
Don't you think that contributes to it just a little bit?
Nowadays are, like, terminally left-right brain to the point where, like, they look at issues and instead of being like, that solution makes sense to me, I believe that, I agree with that, they instead go, That's the left-wing solution, therefore I will believe in that. And it's so stupid and hyper-partisan and makes absolutely no sense to me, and that's why I think like a lot of left-right brain hyper-partisan people don't understand me or people like me.
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think you're just, you know that you're like appealing to a lot of like conservatives, and you know that you're like appealing to them very much, and you're probably going to appeal to more left-leaning people back, like once the pendulum inevitably goes back. I mean, the pendulum's always changing. But, like, you're going to wherever, like, your audience is at, because, like, you're a little bit conservative audience captured.
That's why they call me a centrist or fence-sitter or flip-flopper or whatever.
You are a centrist, though. Didn't, like, Shoe0nHead admit that she was a centrist, though, at one point? Didn't she, like, literally say that herself, that she's, like, enlightened? Like, all the stuff you're saying about how, like, oh, both sides bad, like, that these are, like, centrist people. But we also have to remember that, like, centrists are, like... They just use that as plausible deniability to, like, push right-wing talking points. In the year 2025, that is, anyways. Maybe if it was years ago, people were centrist, then yeah, okay, maybe there's, like, room to talk about it, but not really.
And it's like, no, I'm not a fence-sitter. I have many strong opinions. You just don't like them. And no, I'm not a flip-flopper just because you don't understand the concept of having opinions that don't perfectly fall on the arbitrary, always changing left-right axis that is America.
No, this entire video has just been both sides bad. That's, like, literally the basis of this video. It's actually not that complicated. You're not as nuanced as you claim to be, Shoe0nHead. Like, that's literally just been this whole video.
Circus politics. There's nothing incoherent about my beliefs on paper. None of them contradict one another. I don't understand. She likes free healthcare but doesn't want to chemically castrate children? She believes in workers' rights but wants a stricter
That's not really... Oh my god. You see, this is what I'm talking about again. It's like, you don't want to chemically castrate children. That's not what the left is trying to do. You're talking about trans people. That's what she's talking about. Like, that's not what, like, left-leaning people are trying to do. They're not trying to chemically castrate children. They're just, like, for more gender-affirming care, which is very different than castrating children. Like, that's such a weird... It's, like, all these, like, oversimplifications that she, like, gargles from the right. It's like, okay, I'm this enlightened centrist that sees the flaws in both sides. Well, you bought into dumbass right-wing talking points. Like, you did that, Shoe0nHead. Like, I just don't know if I believe that she's this stupid. I feel like there's no way she's this stupid. I think she knows some of the stuff she says is oversimplifications. I don't really like some of the portrayal of some of the information in this video. It kind of just seems like Shoe0nHead is both siding her way just to appease right-wingers. That's what this whole video comes across as, with just, like, weird-ass oversimplifications to everything that she talks about.
Order? I don't get it. Like, where is the contradiction? I'm basically just Bernie Sanders before he got his spine surgically removed by the DNC.
First of all, don't insult Bernie Sanders like that. I don't think it's fair to compare some weird, I guess, content creator to Bernie Sanders. Second of all, I don't think you're quite the same level, but alright.
In conclusion, MAGA and the Republican Party embracing populism is what made them so popular in the first place. But if the Republican Party's answer to all these issues young people are having is, F you, just move, you're not talented, maybe you'll own a home when you're 70 years old.
I find it so ironic that Shoe0nHead, like, the thing about castrating kids earlier that she claims, which is a very disingenuous way to frame it. I find it so ironic when Shoe0nHead says that. It's like, oh my god, like, I care about these children, but meanwhile, the fucking side that you're trying to appeal to voted for somebody who was best friends with the world's most notorious pedophile for, like, 10 years. I find that so ironic.
They're doomed. Like, they had a small, brief fling with populism and ghosted it. Just pumped and dumped. Like a fat whore they're ashamed of and won't bring out on dates in public.
As I'm editing this, Trump and Mamdani had a meeting together, and it was very interesting.
We were discussing when Bernie Sanders was...
I mean, yeah, optically, it's gonna look good for Mamdani. I did a whole video, like, a whole reaction to this, where Mamdani and Trump met up, and, like, optically, it's actually gonna make Mamdani appeal to more bipartisan people, actually. Like, yeah, this was actually a surprisingly really good meeting between the two.
Out of the race, I picked up a lot of his votes, and people had no idea. When he was put out of the race, I think quite unfairly, if you want to know the truth, many of the Bernie Sanders voters voted for me. And I felt very comfortable, frankly, in seeing that and saying that. I would feel very, very comfortable being in New York, and I think much more so after the meeting. We agree on a lot more than I would have thought.
I'm sorry, this is my new favorite problematic Yowie ship. They love each other. Maybe it's not over, folks. Maybe the power of friendship and populism will save us all.
Well, no, I mean, the reason why Mamdani and Trump are, like, more similar than people may think is because they're both different than compared to, like, normal politicians. That's why they both got in because, like, they showed promise compared to what a standard politician would be.
Listen, I want my kids to grow up in a safe and affordable world where they can get jobs and they can start a family and then they can have the same for their kids. And I feel like at the end of the day, that's what most people want, left and right. They just have different ideas on how to get there. It just so happens my ideas happen to be the correct ones, and if
Sure, if you say so.
you disagree with them, you will be sent to the re-education camp. Do you
Not a centrist. Not a centrist.
want one? Do you want a nuggie? Pledge your
I'm good, Shoe0nHead. I appreciate it.
allegiance to shoe-socialism, and you get a nuggie. So that was that.
I'm good. I appreciate it, though.
Little video. If you liked it, please subscribe for more, and if you want to help support the channel, donate to my Patreon, link down below. All patrons get every single video uncensored a day early. If you can't or don't want to support me on Patreon, that's fine. I don't care. I didn't want you to anyway. Baka. Okay, I will see you guys soon with a fun slop video just in time for Christmas.
That was a very weird video. I think Shoe0nHead's generally smart, but she's trying to play into her audience more than anything else.